recognize Dr. Burgess for his 5 minutes of question.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And let me just stress that I am as far ideologically from Jan Schakowsky as possible. But I think, and I am not here to provide advice, but I think she is giving you good advice. I have been on this subcommittee for over 10 years. I've been through Toyota, I've been through General Motors, and now we're doing this investigation. And let me just suggest to you, and let me just suggest to your corporate structure in Germany, that being dismissive and minimizing the problem that is faced by consumers, dealers, suppliers is not in your best interest, and it will hurt you. So I would be aggressively compliant and aggressively trying to make it right for your customers, dealers, and suppliers, because in the grand scheme of things, I actually believe that will be less costly in terms of dollars, in terms of reputation, and just in terms of the endurance of the brand in the United States, which you've already heard from members of this committee is significant. Our histories with your company all are significant. They go back a significant way. Now, I've gotten that off my chest. Let me just ask you once again, you've been asked before, but are these vehicles safe to drive?
Yes, as the EPA has said, these vehicles are safe to drive. So
this is unlike some of the other recalls that we've talked about in this subcommittee. Problems with airbags, problems with electronic throttle controls. These do not pose an immediate jeopardy to the life of the driver or the passengers.
I trust the judgment of the EPA. Yes.
Now, trusting judgment is kind of what that's what we're doing here today, is we're talking that trust factor has been eroded. Let me just ask you, and you stressed that you are the CEO for Volkswagen of America, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
But do you travel back and forth to Germany from time to time?
Too often right now, not much.
Yeah. Well, have you been in the month of September?
Usually once a month.
Usually once a month. So as this problem has evolved, or the information about this problem, have you gone to the engineers over in Germany and said, guys, what's up here? How did this happen? Have you looked at any lines of software code where someone has identified for you this has happened, or have you held in your hand a defeat device that was added to an automobile?
Personally, I've taken out Mr. Müller of conference rooms, Dr. Dies out of conference rooms. I'm personally talking intensively to the engineers on how we make this right. And to all the questions, how is this possible? Who has done what? They said, we didn't know ourselves.
Yeah, but do you understand how that just defies credulity? I mean, here is a software program that wasn't just written, I'm suggesting here, it wasn't written by one person in their basement in the dark of night. I mean, this had to be a team of people who were working on this. You've got these rascals over here at the EPA of the United States, and they're just hard to deal with. So we want to do something that we'll be able to sell our cars, and we'll just trick them. We'll just trick them. I mean, and then somehow you're going to integrate that into the supply chain of a multinational corporation, and nobody knows a darn thing about it. I mean, that's what you're asking us to believe. Can you understand why, and you've heard it from a number of members, just incredulity that could in fact happen in a large multinational corporation?
I fully agree, sir.
Have you asked that question to the people who are superior to you at Volkswagen in Germany?
Who was superior to me, the guy is not on board any longer. It's called Christian Klingler. He resigned.
Well, I just almost don't know what to say. Apparently in the public domain, in the middle part of the last decade, there was some suggestion that Volkswagen, in an effort to try to sell its diesel high-mileage vehicles in this country, was in the process of leasing software to deal with this emissions problem from another company. Is that correct? The Blue Tech software, I believe, is the name that is used?
I've read this in the newspapers, yes.
So, okay, so it's in the newspapers. Why have you yourself looked at why did they look at this and then stop those negotiations for those leases? What changed? Did we develop some technology at Volkswagen? Did we develop a defeat device at Volkswagen? I mean, these are some of the questions that are just going to have to be answered. And Mr. Chairman, let me just say, and I recognize and I appreciate Mr. Horn being here. I think that we are doing this hearing prior to the time that your document production deadline has expired. So we recognize that you are here voluntarily, and it is your sincere effort to comply with the wishes of the committee. But let me just say, all of us represent dealers, consumers, suppliers, and their lives and livelihoods are extremely important to us, and that's what we've got to keep first and foremost.